Hi, good afternoon. How are you? I'm coming to you. This is actually July 5th, 2021 at about 5:33 p.m. I just I just saw the video of the young woman and she was talking about the pretty privilege. I just wanted to come back and just kind of respond to some things because although, I disagreed with a lot of the things that she said in the video, not in like a disrespectful way. I don't want to come off like just being disrespectful or just hateful towards another person's opinion. But I did disagree with a lot of things. However, I'm not going to act like I don't know what she's talking about. So the young woman in the video, I don't even know her name, but I'll come back and edit this video. But she talked about how she, grew up and she basically has always felt invisible, and how she's, had a number of experiences where she's been around her friends, maybe, or, someone she knows, and they, didn't look like her. And, of course, like how society, they put the importance of how things should look, or how they put their importance on, someone who's very attractive or who's very beautiful. So that's understandable, and that's something I can definitely understand where she's coming from. However, the thing that I needed to point out is, I'm about 10 years older than she is. I believe she says she's 37 now. I believe that a lot of us who are like a little older, can reach back and kind of pour into a person and, just try to show them that a lot of what she's seeing is really smoke and mirrors. Yes, I grew up probably the same exact way. I was this type of person who always felt invisible. I never really thought of myself as like a terrible looking person. I always thought I looked fine, actually. I was always like a person who, I felt like I looked okay. I always was told I had a really nice figure. So, but I never really, had that as my thing. I never really walked around wearing like these revealing outfits. Not knocking anybody who does, but I'm just saying, like, as far as me, I never really was like that type of person to put myself on display like that. So, my biggest thing was, like getting to know a person, you're being friendly with the person, and you kind of take things off from there. So when she said that, she felt invisible, I definitely understood where she was coming from. I felt very invisible. Growing up, a lot of my girlfriends, they didn't look like I did. Some, were, maybe lighter complexion, or, perhaps even mixed. Of course, yeah, they got all the guys, and, the guys would come to me and be like, oh, let me get her number and things like that or whatever. But I think that what she's going off of is just basically the lens that she's looking from, because as I got more mature, I began to be around friends who did not look like my friends, that were like the lighter complexion. They weren't like mixed or anything like that. And a lot of us, I've had like friends who are much more darker than me, and they were the types that got all the guys. Like, I mean, even like females that you probably would look at, maybe somebody like a Sierra or someone, they could stand next to these particular friends that I'm talking about, and they will not, this friend who is probably a lot darker than Sierra, just different things. They would pull more guys than her, and it's like, I'm not knocking anyone, but I'm just saying, like, it's the lens we look through. Your lens, it's like you're focusing on a lot of those things because initially that's how it started out with you. And then after a while, you begin to think like, this is how life is. Like, life is, all the pretty people, they get all the privilege, they get this, they get that. But then, you gotta sometimes, like, maybe, and you're probably not able to be in that position to do so. But I'm a very spiritual person. I am a Christian. I believe in Jesus Christ. I believe that he was raised from the dead. I believe in the Holy Spirit. So a lot of times, I gravitate to what the word says, what the Bible says. And basically, when I do that, I feel as though God will, like, put me on a path of just showing me different things. So I feel as though, the lens that she's looking from is probably just how she, started building on this idea that, this pretty privilege. I've had friends that they can hold a candle with somebody, like, a lot of these girls that are out here now, the Beyoncés, I don't know what the younger generations do now, the younger generations who they follow after that, I guess, though, the Cardi B's and things like that or whatever. I've had friends that look like them, and, they go through things just like us. Like, it's not that they, you can't look at it like they just don't experience anything. Like, everything is just, on the up and up and all this stuff, whatever. You don't know what's happening behind closed doors. I'm not saying that all pretty privileged people have negative lives behind closed doors, but I'm pretty sure if you were to sit down and talk with them and you listen to some of their stories, you probably would be really, really shocked at some of the stuff that they go through. Sure, everything, it looks good on the outside and on the top part. But then after a while, when you sit down and you talk to these people, or, with me, I've had friends that, they were involved in, like, some really pretty serious things as we were growing up. And, like, looking at their lives and things like that, I saw them go through some traumatic experiences. And, I don't know. I might even, like, get a video and, like, have them, like, talk about it, because I'm pretty sure they wouldn't mind. But I just wanted to tell the young lady, like, you are a beautiful person. Like, even though, like, you feel like you invisible and nobody's paying attention to you, sometimes that's not a bad thing. Like, that's not a terrible thing. God created us initially to be a certain way. Sometimes, people don't want to hear, like, that spiritual side of it. They just want to be like, okay, I want a life like everybody else. But, like, when you see, like, on the inside of things, it's like you realize, like, okay, well, God was trying to show us the way the entire time. And a lot of times, people don't realize, when you have this desire to maybe, date somebody or whatever. We're not supposed to be out here dating a whole bunch of people. If you want to really think about it, you're supposed to be this person that's created for whoever you're supposed to be with on this earth. So if people don't pay you any attention, they don't talk to you, they don't, whatever, you have to gravitate to God and allow him to fill those spaces. This is what they mean a lot of times. If I don't know if this young lady is a Christian or anything like that, but this is what, what they mean when you go to church and they, say, Lord, fill me up. If you ever heard that saying, fill me up. Filling you up is like, filling you with those in those cracks and those crevices where this type of thinking gets inside of you. Because basically, when you started realizing these things happening to you, you started building your life on your thoughts on that kind of life. And a lot of times when you start to think a certain way, this is what you project. So if you're projecting this, then, it's like, obviously you're gonna go around, you're gonna be like, oh, nobody pays it. That's the same way I was at one time. Nobody pays attention to me. Nobody this, nobody that, whatever. But then eventually, as I got older and I started to get the attention from the ones that I thought was not paying attention to me, and now they're like trying to pay attention to me, or whatever the case may be, maybe we're put in a position where, like, the person can try to pay attention to me and everything. But then, I realized there were things about the person that I just said, oh my gosh, like, I wouldn't want to talk to this person, not trying to put anybody down, but I would never want to talk to this person. So I would then realize, like, okay, I was looking for this type of attention from somebody that when I finally did get to know who the person was, I was just like, oh my gosh, I don't want no parts of this. In fact, I want us to rewind and go back to the part where you weren't paying any attention to me, where we were like just going about our lives and, whatever. You don't ever want to get yourself into a situation like that. You always want to know that God has your best interest. So with all that being said, I'm believing that with everything you put out there, as far as this video, I have faith that God is going to like turn it around and maybe one day show you that, he's had your back like the whole time. Like, when people sit back and they walk away from you, or you feel rejection, or, they don't say hello, or, you feel invisible. A lot of times these things happen for a reason. And it's like you have to have faith that God is have everything in your best interest. Like, he's not going to allow anything to hurt or harm you. You may not even be inside of the Christian religion now. You may not even, I don't know if you're the type of person to go to church, but let's just say, for the sake of saying, you're not even the type of person to go to church. You're not into all of that, and you don't know what's going to be down the line for you. So one day you might come into the knowledge of Christ, and you may start to see like, okay, well, when at this point in my life, when this person wasn't doing X, Y, Z, you reflect and you think on these things, you'll realize like, okay, well, maybe God was protecting me. He was looking out for me. He was causing things to not happen because he knew that somewhere down the line that I would be here. It can be very hurtful to get, for you to experience those things. But my belief is that a lot of times God will allow that pain and hurt so that you can arrive to a certain point and you will just experience just unspeakable joy, because you'll just think to yourself like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm at this point in my life. Like, it's not about like just having like a person. It's really first about just having God to fill those cracks and those spaces that's within you, to help you know that he is what you need, and then everything else is going to follow. Sure, every woman, most women, they want to be loved. We are here. We want love. We want to be involved. Any human being, you're a human being, you want to experience that. However, that's not the the all in all. That's not like, that's not all we're here for. We're here, to experience whatever it is that God has for us. However, he just may have us going down a different road to get there. So, I just wanted to just let the young lady know that, you just change your lens, change your focus, because although those things are happening, and of course you focusing on it because, you see how your other, people are, friends are being treated. It's like, okay, well, ask yourself, do you even know if these people are still, acting all foolish and crazy over these people? I've had guys, do all these, like over the top things. Like, they want to, things that you would say, okay, like, the guy tried to track me down, he stopped my car, things like that. Like, I'm telling you, it's smoke and mirrors. Even though I know you see it, they are not running off into the sunset on a horse. Like, I'm just being honest with you. You have to be the type of person to, like, ask God to just show you, just give you wisdom to show you the after. Because you're looking at everything on the superficial, like the top. I'm pretty sure, like, some of these females that you see, like, on, in entertainment or whatever, they're very attractive and things like that. Probably somebody done they probably done had a whole theater of people and filled up the theater and asked the woman to marry them and do all this, this crazy stuff. And then, they probably not even paying attention to each other 10 minutes after, after that whole thing happens. So, I just wanted to say to you, just change your lens. Like, don't allow that to dictate, because you don't want to live this life and you go throughout life. God gave, you got one life. So God, like, gave you this life to be, to be lived, to be enjoyed, to be, to be filled up with him. He wants you to walk around, enjoying life and things like that. And you don't want to be like that all the way up until the time it's time for you to leave here. And then after you leave here, then what? Like, you sitting back looking like, oh, they didn't, nobody paid attention to me. Nobody looked at me, but at the end of the day, like, you have other things that you can, like, focus on. You can focus on yourself. You don't have, and I'm not saying, like, change yourself. Like, don't go out here, not having all these different things done to your body and all this stuff, because I just honestly feel that ain't gonna do anything either. If it makes you feel good, of course, do it. But that, I don't think that's gonna do much. But you just gotta pray and ask God to just fill all the cracks and crevices and just fill you, so that that he is in control. That he has your best interest. He has your back. So that this way, anything that happens, that goes down, like, okay, God has my back. And no matter what it looks like, he's going to see to it that I'm okay in the end. All right. So with that being said, I just wanted to just reach out to you and let you know that, I'm praying for you, and I'm praying for, like, everyone, that, I read some of the comments under your videos. I'm praying for all of you, just to, just be filled, have those cracks and crevices filled, because we got to get those filled first before we focus on any kind of relationships outside of him. All right. So with that being said, have a great day, and I will think about putting up another video at another time. Bye.